What's up? It's New Haven, and this is a story about the moment I knew I didn't want to be a software engineer. My first real job, I was fresh out of college working as a software engineer at a reputable video game studio. The pay was pretty good, nowhere near what you'd make at a giant tech corp, but it was pretty good. This was the first time in my life I was making any sort of real money, so I did what most people do and I upgraded my lifestyle. I moved out of this dirty old house I'd been renting a room in with 5 other random guys on Craigslist for the past 4 years. And I moved into a nice 1-bedroom apartment, my own place for the first time in my life. Now I proceeded to fill it with furniture, kitchen utensils, decorative bath towels, all that good stuff you're supposed to have. I worked this 9 to 6 software job and would come home to this nice apartment, eat some food, watch some Netflix, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. By all societal measures, I had succeeded. I had a stable job in my field of study at a game studio people had heard of. I had my own money, my own place. I had arrived at the place you're supposed to arrive post-college. And at first, it was pretty nice. The validation that comes with a reputable company thinking you're worthwhile enough to work there, and the novelty of the new job, the new apartment, having money for shiny new things. But the thing about novelty is it doesn't take long for the shininess of the new to wear off, and after a few weeks, a few months, the things that were once new and exciting are just a part of your everyday life. They become mundane. So once all the novelty of my new life situation had worn off, I was faced with a pretty difficult truth. And that was, on a fundamental level, I just did not enjoy being a software engineer. I felt no real connection to my work or my job, which, let's face it, for most people, if you're working full-time, 40 plus hours a week, plus commute, that's how you're spending most of your conscious hours every week. And I know what some people are thinking, yeah, everyone feels that way about their job. No one likes their work. They just have to do it. I understand that perspective, and honestly at the time I was kind of thinking the same thing myself. Well, no one really likes their job, but this is just life, I guess, so better get comfortable with it. So during this time while I was working this job, contemplating how unsatisfied I was with my field of work, I was sent by my game studio on a work trip to meet with these literal rocket scientists on the East Coast. Like, these guys used to work as engineers at NASA, and now they were part of some consulting group who we were outsourcing some code development to. So I flew out to the East Coast, spent some time working with these rocket scientists, and let me tell you, they didn't like their jobs. They loved it. You could just see their faces light up when they talked about the possible solutions for the complex problem spaces of the software they were working on. They were all about this stuff. Looking back on it, that work trip, that moment, that solidified in my mind, oh, not everyone hates their job. This isn't even necessarily a bad job I'm working. It's just not the type of work I'm meant to do. From that day forward, after work, I would spend my time exploring different types of work or skills or hobbies that I thought I might find fulfilling or interesting. And the one thing I kept coming back to and kept growing in, even though no one was paying me money to do any of it, was music. Once you found something that fulfills you and something that keeps you coming back to it, not because anyone is telling you to, just because you want to, I think that's something worth investing your life and time in. And yes, of course, money is a thing. You can't pay rent or buy groceries off of fulfillment alone. The question of what to do with your life and how to spend your time is a pretty big one, and I'm not in the business of telling other people what to do with their lives. So I'll just end this video with this clip from a lecture by one of my favorite humans to ever live, Alan Watts. I think it does a really beautiful job of articulating this idea of what to do with your life and time. Thanks for watching.
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like? Let's suppose, I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way. Or another person says, well, I'd like to live an out-of-doors life and ride horses. I say, do you want to teach in a riding school? Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you can eventually turn it, you could eventually become a master of it. It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others will. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like in order to go on spending things you don't like, doing things you don't like, and to teach your children to follow in the same track.